Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to the channel. Today is a big day. We got some updates on season 2 of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. There are some big changes coming its way. They released a blog post detailing some of the changes that are coming in season 2. So in today's video, we're going to go over all the big changes that they mentioned. Before we start today's video, if you guys want to show me some support, be sure to hit that like button. If you have not done so yet, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. And the reminder, I do stream over on Twitch weekly. So if you ever want to catch me live, go over there, hit the follow button. The link should be down in the description below. All right guys, so with that out of the way, let's get into this. All right guys, so like I mentioned in the intro, Raven Software and Activision, they posted kind of like a blog update detailing some things that are going to be introduced or changed coming into season 2 of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0. So we're just gonna kind of go over everything they mentioned in here, talk about some of the more big topics that they talked about changing, especially into Warzone 2.0. So in terms of the beginning of this update, they go over some global changes. These are kind of more so just general changes for the game itself, some crashes and stability fixes that will definitely be good because the game can still bug out sometimes. Me and my friends will still randomly disconnect while playing Warzone, so hopefully this will fix that. And also, like, some lobbies we get in are the latency will be skyrocketed to 1,000, so hopefully that will fix some of those random issues as well. Okay, so kind of the first big thing they mentioned in this update is weapon balancing. Weapon balancing is something that can make or break the game. Currently, Warzone 2 has had some pretty trash weapon balancing. Ever since release, the RPK and Fennec have just been the downright go-to meta. They haven't changed like any weapon tuning ever since it's came out. So players have just been running the same guns. It makes the game feel stale after a while. It's probably a lot of reasons people have dropped off, because you can only use 2 weapons in the game if you want to have a very viable chance of winning. So the fact that they do mention weapon balancing, they say weapon balancing is something we are always analyzing and we'll be balancing weapons for season 2 just like any other season or mid-season update. But they don't really go that into detail. They say the weapon balancing details can be found in the launch patch notes. So we're going to have to wait until season 2 actually drops to figure out what they're doing with weapon balancing. But the big thing to take away here is that they are mentioning it. So hopefully that means they are going to change some of the weapon tuning for season 2 and make it that the RPK and Fennec are not just the downright go-to meta. Okay, so kind of getting into the big cheese here, we got the battle royale section of this update. That's what most people are probably looking for, especially me. I'm a big battle royale guy for Call of Duty, so this is what I am wanting to see. So the first thing they mention is the Gulag. So the 1v1 Gulag is returning. They did mention that like a week ago on Twitter. They did tweet out that 1v1s will be returning. They're doing away with the 2v2s. That's great. I know some people did like the 2v2s, but I know a lot of people did not like the 2v2s and the Jailer. They're saying with season 2, 1v1 original Gulag will return with the domination style flag in the center. So you either kill the other player or you cap the flag before the time runs out. And they're getting rid of the Jailer, so that is an overall big fat W. They also mentioned that they are changing some of the looting for the Gulag. So in the new Gulag, you can find like loot on the ground, whether that be ammo, a different pistol variation, or like an armor satchel. They're saying ground loot has been revisited, as well as the loadouts that players will spawn in with. We've updated the pool to include ARs, submachine guns, and light machine guns as primary weapons. Shotguns have been removed from rotation, while handguns will remain unavailable as secondary weapons. And for those leaving the arena victorious, the Gulag will grant a larger cash reward to players. So that is honestly a big takeaway. Cash is something that's hard to find in Warzone 2 at the moment. So winning the Gulag and getting a big cash payout will be a really nice change. And going along with the cash thing, they're saying that the Gulag will now spawn cash as ground loot to encourage players to run around the Gulag map. So that'll be great too, because you could go in the Gulag, get like 2 grand or something, come out and have enough money to buy your loadout weapon again from the buy station. Going along in the cash theme, the next little part is cash economy. They're saying in addition to cash changes to the Gulag outlined above, we are balancing the battle royale economy with slight reduction to cash rewards for completing contracts. Also, they mentioned additionally, we are increasing the lowest value of cash piles from ground loot to 800 from from cash registers to 500. So that's a big W. They're increasing the cash values overall in the game. Okay, so now probably the second biggest change they have already announced for season 2 of Warzone 2 is the looting and inventory changes. So they are shifting away from loot windows and menus to floating loot that will now drop out of all containers in the world, similar to loot from supply boxes. So you kill a player, all their loot will fly out. You don't need to like open their backpack to look for their loot. That would be a really nice change. It will speed up the looting process, and like they say, getting players back in action faster. They are also doing away with medium and large backpacks. You how Warzone 2 has been so far, you could find a medium or large backpack to increase your backpack size. They're doing away with that. Every player will have the same backpack throughout the entire game, which will subsequently reduce the impact of stacking medical supplies, equipment, kill streaks. So moving on to another big feature for Warzone 2 that is receiving a pretty decent change, and that is the loadouts for Warzone. So in this one, they are introducing customizable perk packages, finally. So far, you've only been able to use like the designated perk packages that they've had out. You couldn't really customize the perks you were using at all, really. You had to go with one of the pre-made packages, but with Season 2, this feature will launch with a slightly reduced pool of available perks, which we may slowly reintroduce over time, but you will be able to customize your own perk packages, throw your own perks together. So that will be very nice. So going along with loadouts, you will still be able to buy your primary weapon at a buy station. So if you go to a buy station right now, you can buy any of your primary weapons from your loadouts for around $2,000. But now they're offering them at a more affordable price point so that players can pursue victory with their most desired weapon. So you'll be able to still buy your primary weapon. It's just going to be a little bit cheaper, which is nice. And since they already mentioned they're increasing the cash stacks that you can find in Al Mazrah, you'll be able to get your first weapon pretty fast now. They are also reducing the price of loadout drop markers so that squads can get their loadouts faster if they want to buy a loadout from the buy station. And an actual big change that is just said in one sentence is that on extremely rare occasions, players may find a loadout drop marker while looting in Al Mazrah. So I'm assuming that means if you open a crate, there is a very small chance that you will actually get a loadout drop marker out of that crate. So that is a big W. Also added a second loadout public drop event. So currently, one event per game, a plane will drive by, drop a bunch of loadouts in a straight line across the map. But now they're saying a second loadout drop public event has been added, which means the drops will now happen on the 1st and 5th circles each match. So now you have 2 separate chances to go get your loadout from a drop. That will be a big W as well. Moving on to still some more additional changes into Warzone 2. These are also very big. The first one is 3-plate vests. Players will no longer spawn in with just a 2-plate vest. Everyone will spawn in with a 3-plate vest, so that is a big W. In terms of movement, this is something, movement's probably the biggest thing players are wanting to be changed in the game right now. The movement just feels kind of slow, sluggish, especially if you compare it to Warzone 1. With this update they're giving us, they're saying that while you are plating, players will be able to bust through doors as if they would if they were in a sprint. This change includes a slight increase to movement speed while plating to enable players to get to cover faster in moments of need. So honestly, that's a little bit vague. They didn't go too into detail about it. I'm really curious to see how much exactly you speed up while you're plating, because in my opinion, one of the biggest downsides to the game right now is that if you get in a gunfight, you get cracked or something, if you need a plate, you're basically a snail trying to run into cover to plate up. So the enemy team will just rush you. You stand no chance of surviving. So hopefully this movement speed increase will actually help a little bit. They also mentioned buy stations. In order to make buy stations and their goods easier to access, we've revamped our approach. Spawn locations have been added, adjusted. So I'm assuming that means there will be more buy station spawns across the map, because sometimes you'll the spawn locations are so screwed. You'll be in one area and the closest buy station is like halfway across the map. Spawns will be static across the map, and loadout drop markers have unlimited stock at all stations. So you can't run out of loadout drop markers at buy station. And as always, we will continue to monitor the global balance of our economy. Yada yada yada. You mentioned strongholds for a hot second here. They didn't really mention anything they're changing, but they do mention that they will be changing some stuff about strongholds. Season 2 will bring changes to the rewards players receive from stronghold and black site completion, as well as additional adjustments to AI combatant damage. I hope that means they're making it so the AIs hit you not as hard, because some of these AIs are cracked, bro. They will down you in a millisecond when you run in there. Okay, so they do have a section on DMZ in here. Now, I'm not a DMZ player at all. I don't even think I've loaded. No, I've loaded in a DMZ once. But I don't even have the M13 unlocked, so that tells you how much I play DMZ. They do mention a few things here. The article will be down in the description below, so if you want to read up on the DMZ stuff, just go down the description. Article link will be right there. Last thing I'm going to go over in this update is the multiplayer section. They do mention some stuff worth noting. They mentioned perk balancing. We have heard a lot of feedback around the timing of the bonus perks, specifically the ghost perk. This is something that I actually think needs adjusting, because the ghost perk can, like, once you're halfway through a game, if you call in a UAV, you don't see anyone on your minimap. So they're saying we looked at swapping this perk's position, but we felt this would create severe imbalance in the perk system. For Season 2, we've updated the rate at which the bonus and ultimate perks are earned, reduced bonus perk cost by 50% and ultimate by 25%. This adjustment will allow players to get ghosts earlier in matches, which will better support players looking to engage more aggressively. Now, honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. Like I said, like when you hop into a game, if it's halfway over, everybody has ghost already. And I don't know. I just don't like the perk, but we'll see how this plays out. Now, weapon balancing, that's a big one. In this one, they say we have several weapon balancing changes coming along with the new weapons for Season 2. Full details on weapon balancing will be available in the upcoming launch notes. So they're not really saying anything about the weapon balancing here, but the fact that they do mention it means that there will be weapon balancing. So that's a W. Hopefully they nerf the RPK into the ground. And this one will probably be a big W for a lot of Call of Duty fans. They announced that hardcore will be returning. So far, it's just been tier 1 mode, which is kind of hardcore, but it's more realism. But it's not the same as hardcore. It doesn't play the same. So the fact that hardcore will be replacing tier 1 mode in Season 2, that's a big W. I'm sure a lot of people will be very happy about that. And lastly, they mentioned that ranked play will be coming for Season 2, and that details on the ranked maps, modes, and more will be revealed prior to launch. So anyone that's a big ranked play grinder, I'm sure you're happy about that. All I'm missing from this blog is talk about some new maps that are coming in, man. Hopefully we get some OG Modern Warfare 2 maps. I think that's one of the biggest thing the multiplayer is lacking at the moment, is just maps. A lot of people definitely expected, like on release, that there would be some OG Modern Warfare 2 maps like Terminal, Favela, Afghan, but none of those are in the game right now. And it doesn't make sense to me, because some of those maps are in Al Mazrah, the Warzone 2 map. So I feel like the integration into making it a multiplayer map should be super easy. But they just haven't done it yet. All right, guys, well, that brings us to the end of going over this update blog for Season 2 of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. There are definitely some big changes coming. Hopefully some of the changes they do mention end up working out the way they think it will, and hopefully the weapon balancing and all that stuff will kind of smooth things out in the game. Hopefully we get some players back, because the player numbers have dropped throughout Season 1. Season 2 is a big chance for this game to have a bounce back. I'm not saying the game's not anywhere close to being dead or anything, but there are just some slight changes that can be made into Season 2 that can make this game immediately skyrocket back to popularity. All right, guys, so that is it for the video. If you found this video helpful whatsoever, remember, hit that like button. If you have not done so yet, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Remember, stay blessed, not stressed out there. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.